What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am D-WIZZLE here with another movie review. Today we are talking about Twisters, the sequel to the original from 1996, and it came out this past weekend. The much anticipated sequel. Actually, I don't know if it's very anticipated, but I guess people were excited to see another Twister movie. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. So if you guys have seen my review for the original Twister, I didn't really care for it. I didn't. I honestly think it's probably one of the most overrated disaster films I've ever seen. And I was really excited to see the original Twister, because especially because I love natural disaster movies. I have a good time with them. And I was really excited to see it after riding the Twisters ride from Universal. Yeah, that really made me want to go see it. And actually sitting down and watching it, I was just very underwhelmed. I didn't think that there was enough Twister action in there. I thought the characters were very one-dimensional. I did not like the whole love triangle thing that they were putting in there. And yeah, it was overall just a very dull film. I never really understood the hype for it. So lo and behold, they decide to make a sequel like over 20 years later, 20, 30 years later, and I'm like, well, okay, well, this is typical Universal BS, because Universal likes to milk their franchises. If you've seen the Jurassic Park films, you know what I'm talking about. If you guys have seen the Fast and Furious movies, you know what I'm talking about. So seems like more the same. Yeah, I was not excited to see Twisters. From the marketing, it looked like just another Twister movie. There wasn't really anything in there that really blew my mind. The one thing I was kind of looking forward to seeing is Glenn Powell. Because I'm a fan of Glenn Powell, and Kiernan Shipka was in this, and our new Superman, David Cornsweet, is in here. So it's interesting to see what he was going to do. And Anthony Ramos, I'm a fan of Anthony Ramos as well. But it just seemed like more of the same. I wasn't too excited to see it, but I was willing to give it a chance, as I do with most of the films that I go and see and talk about. Though hearing early reviews of it, it actually seemed promising. A lot of people said that they were enjoying this quite a bit. Some people may think this is better than the first Twister, and I was like, okay, maybe they'll try to put a little bit more substance in here. Maybe try to get a little more Twister action in here. Think that so that to give me a little bit of optimism, but still, my expectations were not that high. And sitting down and watching this, I pretty much got what I expected. Maybe a little bit more. It was fine. It was fine. Yeah, I think I did enjoy this a little bit more than the first Twisters. Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. I definitely think they addressed some of the criticisms that I had with the first movie. I definitely think that the action is a little bit more to the action in the first film, and I thought the characters were more interesting to watch. But this is, once again, it's just not really a mind-blowing film for me. It does feel like, if you are a fan of the first Twister, I definitely think you will enjoy this. But as far as getting new fans in here, I don't know. This didn't really win me over as far as the Twister franchise, But yeah, so what I will say is that it's as far as the actual tornado effects in here, I thought they were done pretty well. There definitely was more Twister scenes in here than it was in the first film. I felt like there was barely any Twister scenes in the first film, but it seems like they gave us a little bit more of what we wanted to see. Though I will say that as far as the intensity, there are times where it felt more intense than the first Twister, and then there were times where it didn't feel as intense as the first Twister. And mainly I think it's just because I think the camera work. That's one of the main things I kind of noticed with this film, is that I think the camera work didn't do the best with showcasing the size of the Twisters at times. I think they would shoot Twisters way too close, and the I didn't feel like the movie was consistently doing a good job showing the scale between like the people, the trucks, the debris, and then the twisters. Some people may not agree with me on that. Some people may like how the twister scenes were shot, and that's completely fine. But for me, I thought it was kind of amateurish at times. The director of this film is Lee Isaac Chung, um, which I never heard of him. I haven't seen any of his previous work. I think this is the biggest film that he's worked on. And it does feel like a first time director is working on this. Not to say that the movie looks bad, like it's still competently shot, but I think we probably could have gotten a stronger director to like show just have a little bit more direction and a little bit more excitement as far as the twister scenes. Like for example, they showed in the trailer that there was like this like fire tornado, something like that, and I thought they were going to do something kind of creative with that scene, and I was actually kind of underwhelmed with that. Same thing with the double tornado. There's two of them. Oh, they put together like that. That was kind of fell flat for me because it wasn't that long of a scene, wasn't that long of a shot either. Like I don't know, it's just, and then of course like the big, F5 tornado. There's an F5 in here. They show that in the trailer. Like yeah, so obviously they will have the big tornado in here, and like yeah, the effects look cool. I expect the effects to look good after 30 years, look better than the first film. But like I don't know, I just didn't. It feels like it's a similar situation that I had with the first film because I thought the first like tornado sequence of both of these movies actually was probably the best part. Like actually showing intensity and like suspense and the urgency of the situation. They actually do a pretty good like framing device in the beginning of the movie of like our main protagonist of the film, played by Daisy Edgar Jones. Like she is like she has a passion with following tornadoes and stuff like that and studying them, and then she goes through a traumatic experience with a tornado. I'm not going to spoil what happens in the movie, but I thought how they set up that for her character, not only with the that entire sequence with that tornado, but just like how it was directed. I thought that was done really really well, and I found it hard pressed to find another scene that compares to the tornado sequence at the beginning of the movie. I mean, the end was like pretty. It had some exciting moments towards the end, but like, yeah, it's a similar situation I had with the first film. I thought the beginnings tornado scene and the ending tornado scene was the best parts, and the stuff in the middle is fine. It's fine, but I definitely think that the character stuff was done better in here. Like I do like Daisy's character. I think Glen Powell, not Gwen Powell. Glen Powell, I thought was pretty good. I really liked him. He's playing that that cocky cowboy type of character. He's a tornado wrangler. Like Glenn already has a lot of charisma as it is, so it's like it's hard to not enjoy him in whatever he's in. And I thought the chemistry that he had with Daisy was pretty good. And then the overall team that they have, I thought was a lot more interesting. Anthony Ramos, I thought was good in here. I thought he had a great team dynamic with Daisy and the rest of the crew. David Cornsweet, he was fine. He was kind of playing a douche in this, which I did not expect. He's kind of an a-hole in here. But like, his role like is not that there's not much to say about it, because like they don't really focus on him that much. So I don't think this is like a good like judgment to see whether he's going to be good or bad in Superman, because like he's playing a completely different character, and he's not even the main focus of the film. He's not even in it that much either. So but for what he served his purpose in here, I thought it was fine. Kiernan Shipka, I thought she was pretty solid too, being that nerd. She's not in the movie as much as I thought she was going to be. I wish she was in it more, but the scenes that she was in it, I thought she was pretty good. And yeah, as far as the other people in here, like I thought they had a good dynamic. They actually felt more relatable, a little bit more engaging. They had a little bit more personality, And I like that, it has a little bit more of a modern sensibility with the team and like the technology that they use, which is what I assumed that would be the case. As far as the technology that they're using, because there's this whole plot in the movie where they are trying to create a device that not only studies the twister, but is actually able to make a twister prevent twisters from happening, like mess with the weather currency to stop the tornado from going. That's very interesting. I don't know if that's how nature works. That does feel kind of science fictiony, but I was able to go along with the ride. Because if that's the type of silly stuff you want to introduce in the film, why not go all out with it? So I thought that was kind of interesting. I did have some questions here and there with the science, with how they were trying to have this device stop a tornado, but I was very fascinated to see how it is. I thought it was just going to be another rehash of like the Dorothy device in the first movie, and I'm glad that wasn't the case here. Even though the Dorothy device does, is being utilized in here, it's not like the main focus on here. So that was fine. And of course, like there are some instances where it's like, the laws of physics are kind of bent a little bit, like, and especially when the people are getting away from like these dangerous situations and like they're just getting out of it safe, like, and as far as the physics of the car is like not 100% realistic here, but that's not I don't go to disaster films to like, you know nitpick about physics. I just want a fun disaster film. That's really what I want. I want it to be exciting, I want it to be thrilling, but at the same time I want to care enough for the characters where it's like I care what happens to them. So I felt overall with Twisters, it was a better attempt. I do think I enjoyed this a little bit more than the first Twister. This is not a movie that I would revisit over and over again. I don't think would be like, you know, my g- be part of my go-tos when it comes to natural disaster films. I think I would rather go back and watch something stupid like 2012 or The Day After Tomorrow or even San Andreas. I had some fun with that. Twisters, like, I probably will watch again, but like I don't know, it's not super memorable to me. Though, for the crowd that I was in the theater that I was in, they were having a good time, and actually there was quite a few people in my showing, so people actually are into these tornado films, and I think they're some people just going there for because they like the genre of natural disaster films. So obviously there's a fan base for these type of movies. But for me, as far as Twisters, like, I don't know, I really could take it or leave it at this point. So yeah, I'll give it a B minus. I thought it was good. I had a good time with it, but not something that I would watch over and over again. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Twisters. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? How does this compare to the first Twister? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. But if you guys enjoyed this review, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you Twister fans, and I'll catch you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.